Hey, how's everybody doing? Let's give it just a couple minutes here to get a few people to jump on. Talk marketing, bounce some ideas, see what everybody's got going on. Excuse me. This will be good. Hope everybody is enjoying their day, doing well out there. Hey, what's up, Jahan? How you doing, man? Get on here and bounce some ideas, man, and see what we can come up with as far as how best to market some of your small businesses. So I wanted to do this because I want to make sure that I'm sharing value, I'm sharing content, just off my experience in business, things that I've learned over my years in doing this, and also being able to support a lot of small businesses right now as we all try to figure out how to maneuver our way through these times that we're in. So that's really what this is all about. So for those who don't know me, I'm Kris Mathis, speaker, author, serial entrepreneur, business coach, wine tour guy. I mean, I wear a number of different hats. And so I've had some success in these spaces of business, but now, like I said, I really want to take time to just share some ideas and tips on things that are working and not working, and things that I'm seeing in the industry that's working with other businesses that I work with, and even for some of my own businesses as well. So I guess to get it started, if I were to make a suggestion, and please feel free to just throw up some questions and comments and ideas as well as we go through this. Some of the things that are working for us right now in the market is being very consistent. And so we are being very consistent with content right now in all of our lanes of business. So with my wine tours, even with some of our butcher work in the family business that I have, that I bought into. And so we're playing in all these spaces. We're sharing great content, but we're being very consistent. And for us, that consistency is 6 days a week. 6 days a week is what we aim for. And we're sharing content every day, 6 days a week at the same time, or roughly ballpark the same time of day, every day. And so that is keeping us relevant right now. Although a lot of people aren't spending a ton of money and they're not, tossing out their dollars right now. And some simply don't have it to give right now because of their situations with their jobs and so on. So what we're doing is creating content that's just keeping us relevant, keeping people engaged, and just a positive energy. It's not always about selling for us. Sometimes it's simply just about sharing the content and just being encouraging to people. And so that would be the first tip that I would give is being empathetic right now, having some sympathy and some empathy, knowing that we're in a time right now where people are not dishing out tons of dollars to buy stuff. So as a business, our goal right now should not be selling a bunch of stuff. Our goals right now should really be built around building loyalty, building brand loyalty, really. So I think that one of the mistakes that a lot of businesses are making right now, for some of business, I should say, is they're focused on, let me just sell. I need to sell more. Other businesses that are going to win at the end of this are really focused heavily right now on how do I create brand loyalty? How do I create great content that's going to engage people? We're seeing it with some of our major brands. I mean, you look at brands like Xfinity, Comcast. I mean, they're giving away, discounted services and free packages for internet. And we're getting insurance companies who are waiving fees and, banks who are saying, hey, we're willing to be flexible with you on your mortgage. These things are not about making a ton of money for the business. It's simply about gaining relevance in their space and creating brand loyalty because they want that person to think, after this is over, this is the business that was supporting me and helping me through my hard times. So the least that I can do is now support that business in return. And now I'm going to be loyal to that business for the next 5 years. Exactly, DeAndre. Visuals build relevance. Absolutely. Consistently throwing content out, man, and just putting it in front of the people's faces all the time. And just being really consistent with it. But again, having that, as far as that difference between your brand loyalty and the other side of it being this sales piece, what we play by is a 80-20 rule. So 80% of our content is all about brand loyalty right now. We are promoting heavy on the brand loyalty side. Only 20% of our content is about, hey, consider buying a wine tour here and, when this is over, or consider buying a gift card when this is over. We're really, really heavy on that brand loyalty piece right now because that is what a lot of people are going to be buying into, and that's what's going to bring them back as customers as we move them all forward. And I just saw someone pop up. Hey, Renee. So I don't know why I just randomly thought of this. So Renee asked a question on my last video last week about, and Renee, please correct me by adding the question again if I don't get this correctly. But she asked me, how do we get people to show up at the events and get butts in seats? I believe it was something along those lines. I don't know if you meant as far as seminars or workshops or what you had in mind. But I definitely wanted to make it a point to speak to that a little bit because we were going to be talking about marketing. So the answer to that question is I really need to learn a little bit more about what you're doing, but I can give you some kind of generic answer if that helps. Content. We have to take a look at the content and the type of story that you're telling right now in that business that's going to help get people to want to come and check you out. So that's what we would need to take a look at to see what does that look like, because that giving really good content is what's going to drive that traffic. So if you want to throw the question back out, give me a better idea on what kind of business this is or what you're thinking, I can then give you something a little more specific that kind of speaks to that. But as far as the content piece, sharing information, marketing at this point, that first tip that I want to give you, are you good, Benjamin? Appreciate you showing up, bro. The first thing I want to give you is about being empathetic at this point. I mean, we need to show empathy. We need to have some sympathy and know that everyone is not in a position right now to just throw money around and buy, all this stuff from your business. That's just not where we're at. So as we continue to promote these things, we need to be conscious of that and be very cautious of the kind of information that we put out so that we don't put off this brand of, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Because that's not where we're at right now. So that would be the first tip that I would give you. I think the second thing that I would give you, as far as again, another marketing tip would be social media. We should all be hey, what's up, Will? We should be extremely consistent right now with sharing content through social media. Everybody is home right now. There is no excuse that you can't be posting 5 to 6 times a week minimum. At the minimum, 5 or 6 times a week. There should be a new post going out every single day of the week, sharing us something new about what you're doing with your business, how it's working in your business, something that's encouraging us to do this. Look at that. Hey, here's some of the stuff that we've got going on. One of the things that I've been encouraging those in the restaurant space to consider when it comes to social media is give us visuals, right? A lot of businesses are in this space right now where they're heavily focused on this curbside thing of, pickup and delivering to homes or whatever the case may be. Give us something visual. If I'm in the restaurant space right now and I own a restaurant and my menu's got 10 items on it, I am really, really big on, hey, that might be your audio, Lee. You might want to turn that on. I think, yep, I'm good over here. So if I'm in the restaurant space, one of my things that I'm doing with my menu is I'm taking pictures of everything on my menu. I'm making a small dish of everything on my menu. I'm taking a picture. I'm talking through the recipe. I'm sharing with you how I put it together, the passion and love that I have for what I do. Although these seats are empty in my restaurant right now, here's some amazing things that our team is doing right here in the kitchen as we put together some great dishes for you to enjoy with your friends and family right at home. And I'm giving you visuals of all of those things, of what that looks like. And as I have those visuals that I'm creating, I'm then sharing those visuals through social media with you. I'm giving those visuals to you. And as people see those visuals, that's when we need to eat something for dinner tonight. We haven't decided what we're going to eat tomorrow night. We got to decide on this or that or whatever the case may be. Those kind of visuals are what's going to lead you to more sales as far as the restaurant space goes. So that would be something that I would encourage some of those that are in the restaurant space to consider. Another tip that I want to give you, and I think it was Benjamin who I think he jumped on as well. He sent me a message the other day asking me to kind of elaborate a little bit on how do we create better relationships with our customers to drive that traffic. Hey, Precious, good to see you. How do we create better relationships with our customers to then drive that traffic to get them to connect with us and then eventually lead them through a process of a sale? And so the thing that we have to remember, and I learned this some years ago, and then I read it also in Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand, where, there you go, Benjamin, he breaks it down incredibly, and it gave me a different perspective on how I share it. So the thing that we have to remember with our businesses and the customers that we serve is that when we're serving our customers in business, we have to remember we treat our customers like a first date. And like a first date. And what I mean by that is, fellas that are watching this, all the guys, imagine this. And ladies, think about it from your perspective. We see you out at the mall or at the movies or, wherever we catch you at. And I come over to you and I say, man, I saw you from across the way. You look really nice. Can we get married? Like, I asked you this question, you give me this crazy look, and you're probably going to tell me no, we can't get married. I don't know you like that to get married to you. But I'm like, okay. So instead of me saying, let's get married, I say, you're not willing to marry me right now. I get it. Can we just go to lunch? And you agree to that. There's no harm in us just going to lunch, right? We're going to just sit down and have a meal and just kind of talk it out together. So we go to lunch and we have this great conversation. And I tell you things about me and you share things about you, and I listen and I'm taking it all in, and we're having this great conversation and getting to know each other. And then after that conversation is over, the next time I call you up and I say, hey, I really enjoyed our lunch meeting. Can we get married now? You're probably going to tell me no again. But if I turn around and I say, okay, can I at least take you out to lunch again? You say yes. Let's go to lunch. Perfect. Let's go to lunch again. So now we've gone to lunch twice. At some point of me doing this and taking you out to lunch over and over and over again, hey, Joanne, at some point I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, hey, let's get married now. And you're going to say yes. It's the same in our business. So what does that mean when we tie it to our business? Too often times, and I see this in industries a lot, where businesses jump on Facebook, they jump on social media, and they simply say, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. I made the joke with another business I was working with about the hair business. We see it, bundles on sale, buy my bundles, buy my bundles. See that all the time. The truth of it is, and if I can be very blunt and honest with you, no one cares. No one cares. The reason we don't care is because you have not taken the time to build a relationship with us. You haven't taken the time to get to know us. You haven't taken that time to take us out to lunch. Instead, all you've done to me is say, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And we're not interested in buying your stuff because we don't know you like that. Buying your stuff in business is the same, is the equivalent of saying, let's get married. You're asking me to commit to you. You're asking me to commit to something, and I can't commit to you because I don't know you like that. So what do you do instead in business? For the rest of this shutdown, we got another month, hopefully another month of this shutdown. This is your opportunity to be telling me, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's go to lunch. What does that mean in business? That simply means, let me share with you what we're doing. Let me show you how we do this. Let me show you why we're so passionate about what we do with food. Let me show you how amazing our fashion is. Let me show you the materials that we use to make our gowns, our dresses, our shirts, our hats, whatever the case may be. This is your opportunity to show me that. This is your opportunity to show me, take me out to lunch. And what's going to happen is, as you start to take me out to lunch and you share a post with me that doesn't say, hey, come buy my bundles. Instead, it says, hey, come and learn more about what we're doing right now. I'm going to see that a few times. The average consumer needs to see it 5 to 7 times before they make a decision. So if you're willing to show this to me and you're sharing this 80-20 rule that I talked about, and you're giving this to me 80% of the time, which 6 days a week, that means 4 days out of your 6, you're simply telling me, let's go to lunch. You're simply saying, let's go to lunch to me 4 days out of the week. 4 days out of the week, I'm coming and I'm taking a look. I'm not buying because you didn't ask me to buy. You simply said, come and take a look. Come and learn more. Come and see what we're doing. I said, okay. Now, then you wonder about, what do we do with that other 20% of the time? That other 20%, that is our opportunity to say, let's get married, right? That's our opportunity. Let's say, let's get married. So 4 of those days a week, you're simply telling me, hey, take a look, come and learn more. Come and see what we're doing. Come and check out how we're doing it. And then you're going to get to the point where you're going to say, okay, you've looked 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now, hey, come and check out this wine tour that we got. Hey, come and take a look at what we're doing new. And we're asking you to come in and make your down payment today. We're saying, come and make your first purchase tomorrow. We got this going on sale, and this is what we're going to be doing with it. And we're marking it down 10% or, whatever the case may be. Thank you. And so as we do that, that is your opportunity now to tell me, let's get married. But the reality of it, they're out there for me. You're funny, Jerusha. So you threw me off with that. So your opportunity now is the truth. Is some of those people are going to say, you know what? I've seen enough of this. I'm ready to get married. And they're going to commit and they're going to buy something. And now they have become a part of your built-in market, become a part of your loyal base. But then you're going to have some of us that's going to say, I don't know you like that. I don't know you well enough yet to say I'm ready to get married to you. But if you come back and ask me to go to lunch again, I'm going to go to lunch with you a second time. So that's when you get that 4 and 2. That's what I encourage. A healthy 70-30, 40-20, I'm sorry, 80-20, I mean, as far as your split goes. 80% of that time should not be you telling me come and buy something, because I don't care. I don't know you like that. I've never heard of your business. I'm not familiar with you, but you want me to come and spend all this money with you, and I don't know you like that. The same way the girl isn't going to say yes the first time you see her and say, let's get married. She's not going to tell you, yes, let's go start planning the wedding. She's going to say, no, I don't know you like that. Let me get time to get to know you. It's the same with our businesses. So as we take the next month of shutdown, this is our opportunity to say, hey, come and get to know us. Come and learn more about what we do. Come and take a look at what we're doing. Come and check out what we've got going on. Bring some of your friends and shop our store. Not necessarily buy anything, but just see what we got to offer. That's all you're simply saying. Is simply come and learn more. That's it. So it's important that as a business that you think about this 80-20 split that you have to give, because again, if your goal is just to drive sales, I can promise you right now, you're not going to survive the next month. You're going to be one of those businesses that we read about and see on the news that talk about closing their doors. Because that's not the way this market is built right now. People are not prepared to spend money like that. They're trying to figure out how they're going to eat tomorrow with no job and waiting for unemployment to show up. The last thing they're worried about is buying your stuff. That's not their focus right now. So because we know this and we're showing some empathy and we're having sympathy for these families that we know are in these positions who at one point would have bought our stuff had the market not been what it has become, let's be honest and let's be cautious of that. Let's be aware of that. Let's be sensitive to that and not go around just wanting to sell our stuff to anyone and everyone that we see through social media or that we bump into. So let's be honest about it. The other piece that I would add to that, as we think through this 80-20 split and we're sharing this content of 80-20, right? 80% is you telling me, hey, let's go to lunch. 20% of it is you telling me, let's get married. It gives you a healthy balance. The other part of that is, now we have to think about the internal and the external. What does that mean? Internally, every customer has an emotional decision or a feeling that they have or that they make that leads them to buying what it is that they're after. But they're only buying it because that business has learned how to connect with them emotionally. Then there's the external. The external is the ability or the decision they make to physically, grab whatever that thing is and then make the purchase. So what we have to get good at as businesses is how do we now begin to play this internal external? One example that I would give you is if we look at movies, right? For those of you, and I'm going to pick my favorite movie because it's really easy and I'm hoping you all seen it. But if we look at a movie like The Pursuit of Happiness, right? We look at The Pursuit of Happiness about, Will Smith or Chris Gardner. He's got this life struggle he's dealing with. He loses his wife. She leaves him and he's sleeping in the bathroom with his son and all these bad things are happening to him. What we're seeing in this movie is a guy who's dealing with a lot of different problems, right? And then he eventually gets a great job and then it leads him to going and starting this new business and so on, as far as the stockbroker side of it. What we have to think about is these two journeys that he's on. He's on an internal and an external journey. So most are going to look at this and say, what is that movie all about? They're going to say the movie is about a guy who's homeless and his kid, sleeps in the bathroom and has all these bad things happen to them. When in reality, that's not what the movie is about. The movie is really about a guy who is trying to earn the trust of his son. And what I mean by that is if we look throughout the movie, there are different parts and scenes throughout the movie where we hear him say, son, do you trust me? And after he says yes, he takes him into a bathroom and they sleep on the floor. That is a part of that internal journey that we're seeing throughout the story. So the external journey is about a guy who's, lost his job and trying to figure this thing out. The internal journey is about a guy who is struggling to earn the trust of his son and trying to figure it out. Now that I've shared that, you're probably wondering, how does that fit into your business? The way that ties into your business is when you sell your service, when you sell your product and the things that you offer, you are selling two different journeys to your customer. You're selling an internal journey and you're selling an external journey. When we look at companies like Mercedes, most are going to look at Mercedes and say, well, they're selling a luxury vehicle. The luxury vehicle that they sell is nothing more than the external journey of what they sell. The internal journey that Mercedes is really, really good at selling is VIP, status, importance. When you pull up in a foreign car or a rare Mercedes, it turns heads. The driver of that vehicle feels some kind of way. Now he or she is feeling like, man, that just gave me this feeling, or I feel like this, or I feel important, or there's a status and an emotion that it drives inside of me. When we look at stuff like the commercials or the infomercials where we see them, feed the kids in Africa and they want you to donate all this money and they tell you these sad stories and they show you pictures, or we see the ones with the dogs that are caged outside in the rain or the cold. Their external is help us feed the animals. Their internal journey is sympathy, empathy, this somber emotion, this somber feel. All of these things are what they're playing on to drive that emotion for us to make that commitment to do that. So in business, we have to do those exact same things. So if I give you an example, when I look at my Razor Glass wine tours, one example that I would give you out of that as to how we play on internal, external is, our external is we give you a wine tour experience and education and fun and food. But our internal journey that we have is VIP, it's status, right? We know at $150 a ticket to take our wine tour, not everyone can join our wine tour. So when you come on our wine tour, it's like joining an exclusive club. When you drive a Mercedes, it's like joining an exclusive club. When you buy that thing that you're after, it's like joining an exclusive club. So you have to learn, what are the internal and external emotions that drive our customers? That is what you're going to be focused on over the next month. That's a part of what you're giving us through social media. Show me that you have an internal and an external understanding by sharing content that's going to speak to those things as it relates to my customers. Or in your case, your customers. Those who know me know Kris keep a bottle of Fiji. I always got a bottle of Fiji with me. It doesn't matter where I'm at, where I'm going. I keep one in the car, the trunk somewhere. I should be a spokesman for Fiji. But why? What is it that Fiji's selling me that I'm all about? The physical is the bottle of water. That's the physical thing of what they're selling me. But what's the internal? I would say status, right? Fiji is considered a high-up brand. It's not the little squishy bottle stuff, the little squishy bottle make all the noise. It's nothing like that. So it's a part of being at the status side of it. It's about quality. It's about the electrolytes, if you really want to dig deep into it. It's about all of these other things that they offer with their water that makes us say, that's why we have to have that over this. So when you think about your brand and you're looking at the next 30 days as you begin to talk more about this, we're going to be seeing all of these things that are going to come up. And we're going to be looking at all these different brands that are going to come across our Facebook news feeds. As we do that, we're asking ourselves, do I really need that? What is the connection for me to that? Why do I have to have that? And as a business, it's your job to be thinking internal and external. What is the internal connection that I'm trying to make with my customer? And what is the external connection that I'm trying to make with my customer? And as you learn more of those pieces, you will get a better feel as to how to spread that out through your marketing and then educate your customers and then make that connection to turn it into actual traffic of people wanting to learn more. And then at some point, you're going to say, let's get married. And when you get to that point, that's when it becomes an actual sale. So that is the breakdown there. The third tip that I want to give you is, when we look at our markets and we look at our social media followings and we look at these areas that we have right now of people, we ask ourselves, who exactly are we promoting to? Excuse me. So one of the challenges that I see, or even mistakes or problems that I see made a lot, is businesses are really, really big on promoting on their personal pages or their fan pages or whatever the case may be, right? The thing we have to remember with Facebook, for example, and even Instagram to an extent, but we'll focus on Facebook. Facebook started as a vehicle to connect friends and family to each other who may have been disconnected at some point, right? Because of distance or, lost phone numbers or whatever. I'm sure we've all, reconnected with someone that we haven't seen in 5 years through Facebook because of the way that it's set up. So that's what it was designed for. That's what it's still used for. So when you go to your page and you say, buy my bundles, buy my bundles, buy my bundles, you're probably one of those businesses that get frustrated really easy because you see 5 or 6 or 10 likes and then all of a sudden you see those numbers start to dwindle to where no one cares anymore. And the reason no one cares anymore is because all you're doing is promoting it to the small audience that Facebook has offered it to. Again, it was never designed to be a vehicle to connect you with new people and people outside of that circle. Hey, appreciate that, DeAndre. It was never designed for that. It was designed to connect you to your immediate circle and those that you have already been connected to. So every time you throw all this content out through your Facebook page and you say, buy my stuff, no one cares because we see that thing 1,000 times a week. We see it every single day because of the way their algorithm is built. It's not designed for you to reach outside of that circle. The only way for you to reach outside of that circle with the way Facebook has become now is you pay for it. You run ads. You got to spend the money for marketing. You got to reach outside the circle and spend the dollars now to get outside of that circle now to drive that new traffic in, which brings me to my next point. My next point, number 3, Brendon Burchard, and I encourage you to write this down. Brendon Burchard, in his book, The Millionaire Messenger, incredible book, by the way. Him and I are actually with the same publisher, Morgan James Publishing, with that book. In his book, The Millionaire Messenger, he says, 70% of your business will come from people who have never heard of you. I'll say it again. Millionaire Messenger, Brendon Burchard says, 70% of your audience will come from people who have never heard of you. What does that mean? That simply means 30% of the people within your network are the people, or your business network, I should say, as far as your customer base. These are the people who are already connected to you, have already bought your stuff, have a brand loyalty to you, buy regularly, are the ones who bought your subscription and have carried it on for a year. That's the immediate circle of people who are already buying. Thank you, Kendra. And then the 70% of the people that have never heard of you, those are the people that you got to figure out, how do I reach them? How do I get into that 70% of audience? That's where the money is at. That's where I need to be. So every time you throw on Facebook, buy my stuff, buy my bundles, buy this, buy that, all you're doing is turning away your 30% more and more and more, because it gets us to a point where we start to see this is all about buying stuff. It's all about selling us stuff. And now we no longer care to even follow your page anymore because everything is about closing a sale for you. If you apply it 80-20, it gives you a healthy balance with your 30%. But at the same time, your 30% is more likely to want to share your content, which now expands it into the other 70% of audiences that you can't reach. That 70% being our networks, our friends and family, our co-workers, all of those that are connected to us. That's how you get referrals. You get the referrals by treating your 30% really well, and then it transfers outside of there. I hear you, Destiny. That bundles piece is where I got it. It came from a conversation you and I had a long time ago. And never mind. I won't even go there. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, you made a comment to me. It was really funny, and I've been running with the bundle thing ever since. So that's where it started. So that's 30% are the audience that you already got them on board. These are the ones that you need to appreciate, and appreciate them by giving them brand loyalty, not wanting to just dump more sell, buy my stuff on top of them. That is not how you're going to get the message outside of your 30% to reach the 70%. The 70% are the people who have never heard of you. This is the audience that's saying, man, I'm in the market to find this, or I need to find that, or I need to buy this or buy that. But they don't get the opportunity to ever see your business because you're too busy saying, buy my stuff, buy my bundles to your 30% audience. This is where running ads comes into play. This is where having a healthy 80-20 split of how you market and how you're messaging through Facebook and how you share your content. That's where it's going to reach. You remember? I love it. That's funny. So that's 70% of the audience. You're too much. That's 70% of the audience is the market we're trying to reach. And the way we reach that 70%, keeping in mind, they've never heard of you. This is why you come to them and you say, hey, can we go to lunch? That 70% has never heard of you. You're not going to the 70% and saying, hey, let's get married, because they're not buying. It's as simple as that. I don't know you, so I'm not buying. But if you come to them and say, hey, let's go to lunch, simply saying, hey, come and take a look at our website, see what we got to offer. You know, at the end of this, we're going to offer some incredible promotion. Come and learn more about what that promotion will look like and what we're going to be doing. So in a month from now, when everybody starts to get back to normal life, we can start to put all these things back together. That becomes the conversation. That's how you're going to encourage that 70% to come over. That's how you're going to encourage your 30% to want to tell the 70%, hey, you should come out and check out this great business that I've got. And speaking of Destiny Adams, who I saw mention, Distinct Hair Collection. I encourage you to go take a look at what she's doing. She's a great example of what I'm talking about, of someone who has a healthy 80-20 split, knows how to share her content in a way that says, hey, come and learn more and let's go to lunch. And then she has a nice bit of content that says, hey, let's get married. That's what it becomes, is giving that healthy split. So that's a big part of what we have to see for businesses to survive this next 4 weeks as we talk more about this shutdown. And hopefully it's not extended. And if it is, we got to figure out our way through that. But these are some of the pieces. These 3 things are some of the things that I would encourage businesses to be thinking about as to what does that look like for my business and how do I apply that? And if you have questions on any of those things, please just throw them in there and I'll answer as many as I can. I've got a few more minutes. But now some are going to be wondering, how does this 80-20 thing fit, to what I do with my restaurant or selling cookies or, selling this kind of good or my tech business or, I'm business to business versus, direct to consumer. All of those things matter. So, but these same rules, they don't change because of those things. They don't change. And actually, on a side note, for those who are in the business to business space, I would encourage you to be heavy right now on LinkedIn. Heavy on LinkedIn. I mean, that's where you find all your professionals. And there are tons of professionals right now who are looking to build and connect further with business to businesses. And there are a lot of businesses out there that are still thriving in this space and still able to afford to take on new things within their business. Here is an opportunity for you to take a part of that. Be a part of having those kind of conversations. If I were to, throw out any other ideas as you maybe think through some of your questions before I wrap up, I would say maybe think about what does a Facebook ad look like right now. I think we're at a time right now where a lot of businesses are pulling back marketing budgets and they're concerned about spending more money at this point. I think this is a time where you need to have a marketing budget. You need to have something going on in the market, especially over the next 4 weeks, because as more and more of you pull out, it's going to take you another 3 to 6 months to recover to get that customer back because they stopped seeing your advertisements. And so if there is no visual for me, I'm not connected with you, right? I'm going to be connected to the one I see. Hence, the example I would give you is there's a McDonald's logo on every highway sign. At every exit on the highway, there's McDonald's. Every single one. And it's not because we don't know that McDonald's is there. We know they exist. But it's because they want you thinking of them before you think of their competitor. So this is the way that they keep that visual in your face every single day. If you're driving a highway, or you're traveling, or whatever the case may be, and the fact that they're on every single exit, it increases the odds of your chances of stopping at a McDonald's versus a Burger King because you're visually seeing them over and over and over again. It's the exact same in your spaces as we go through this shutdown. So over the next 4 weeks, customers are going to start to build more brand loyalty with the brands that they're seeing consistently versus the brands that they're not. The businesses that are cutting their marketing budgets and not posting on Facebook and eliminating all those areas, those will be the forgotten businesses. Those who may not be able to run their full budget, right? You can't spend your full budget, but you can spend 25% of your budget right now. Those are the ones that, thanks, Travis. Hey, Doug, what's up, bro? Those are the ones that will maintain some relevancy over the next 4 weeks. Those who maybe cut their budgets in half, or again, like I said, maybe even by 3/4, but you need to do something that maintains some relevancy in the market. Because when this is all over, my opinion, I don't expect people to just all of a sudden go back to spending money May 1st. People are going to be cautious. Their fear is, what if this thing isn't done yet? What if it comes back for a second round? What if jobs don't bounce back as fast as we may think or we're being told? What if this switches up at the last minute and all of a sudden it looks completely different the next time around? They're cautious. So I think there's going to be a waiting period. This thing will lift, and let's be hypothetical and say it lifts May 1st or April 30th is our last day. May 1st it lifts. We're going to see another 3 months of slow progression of people jumping back into the market and starting to spend their dollars. But as they do that, I can promise you one thing. The businesses that they spend with will be the businesses that they have brand loyalty with. It won't be the business that they didn't hear from, the business that they never heard about, the business that wasn't relevant to them at that time, whether it was by way of social media or a newsletter through their email or whatever the case may be. They're going to give their dollars to that business that gave some brand loyalty. And so that's what I would encourage is to think through in your space, What is that going to cost you to maintain? Can you afford to maintain financially? If you're depending on what your shutdown looks like right now, and what is that going to cost? Like, how much do I need to spend over the next, let's say, 2 months to continue to maintain that relevancy as I move forward? That's what we have to figure out. What does that look like? And then that's going to better tell the story for us. So, questions. I'm open now. I'm ready to bounce some ideas. I've got about 5 or 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap up and prepare to shoot to my next meeting. But yeah, those for me are some of the things that we're working on as we think through some of our business things and some of the things that we're doing, and really learning to think outside the box right now. And this whole Zoom piece has been really big for us. I can share one idea with you that we're working on, and no one that we know of right now in the state of Michigan is doing this as far as what we're doing with Raise a Glass Wine Tours. So we're in the early phases of mapping out a virtual wine tour experience, which we'll have done probably in the next few days. We've been working on this now for a couple of days now. It's come together really well for us. And so we are prepared to take you to Napa Valley on a virtual wine tour experience with some of our partners in Napa. We're on a virtual tour where we're going to be working with some of our local wine bars as a way of supporting local. So what does that look like in my world, right? Traditionally, what we've done is we've taken you, if you've been on any of our wine tours, or any wine tour for that matter, right? You have to show up, we pick you up, we take you to a location, you have some great food, some amazing wine, and we drive you around and all those things. Well, what we're doing now is we're tweaking that a little bit, where we're taking that model where we're going to have the meat and cheese in our charcuterie board and a bottle of wine shipped in from one of our partners, and we're going to have it curbside pickup or delivered to your home. Then what we're going to do is you and 5 of your lady friends can all jump on a virtual call with us, and we're going to bring on the sommelier, the winemaker, the wine steward, or the chef, and have them tell you all about the wine you're drinking. And we're going to walk you through a virtual experience as you sip on the wine, and they explain to you the notes in the wine and what you should be looking for and how to properly taste, and then pairing it with those certain dishes as well. We're going to take you on that virtual experience, and we're working on getting it in Napa Valley, and we're going to be doing that right here in Grand Rapids. And then we're going to take you to Italy, out of all places, and give you an experience right in Italy with a winemaker in Italy who's going to be able to help with that virtual experience. And so that's going to be one of our newest things that Raise a Glass is going to be offering to us. And so some would say, wait a second, Kris, slow down. Why would you tell your new ideas and you haven't even created it yet? Aren't you worried about someone stealing it? And the answer is absolutely not. Here's why. Ideas have no value until someone is willing to do the work. Period. Ideas are worthless until someone is willing to do the work. I shared the idea with you. Now that I've shared the idea and the concept with you, you still got to go duplicate it. You still got to figure out how I'm going to pull that off. You still got to figure out what the rest of my vision looks like to make that thing come to life. And then you got to figure out how to market it, how to drive the people in, how to get the traffic, how to get them to buy the ticket, build out the website. The last thing I'm worried about is someone stealing my idea, knowing they got all that legwork to do, and we're already light years ahead of that phase. And by the time they figure it out and figure out how to do all that and actually get it right, we're not even doing that anymore. We'll be moved on to something completely different. So it's like the last thing I'm worried about is someone stealing my idea, and I think that's the last thing that someone you should be worried about. We're in a phase right now as entrepreneurs where this is not a time to make more excuses about what the economy is doing to our business and how we can't do this and we can't do that. This is the time where we have to learn to think out the box, get really creative, because our livelihood is on the line. That's what it comes down to. Simple as that. And I apologize. I want to back up. I saw a few questions come up, and I want to make sure I address some of those. Can you speak on creating an email list to engage with customers during this time? Absolutely. So one of the things that we've done to create an email list is we have been very, very big on, again, offering free content. That's one. And then offering specials. We offer specials through our wine tours to all of our guests. On the other side of it, when it comes to coaching and some of my other businesses, it's simply building relationship. Just building relationship. Easiest way to get the email is just build relationship. Give me free content. Invite me in to want to learn more. Invite me in to want to learn more, and I'm more likely to want to give you my email address to stay in touch with you. But to do that, I got to like what I see. So again, if I relate it to dating, it's just like if I see the girl at the mall, I go over and I say, hey, you're really cute. Can we get married? She says no. I say, okay, instead of getting married, let's just go to lunch. Give me your phone number. She says, I don't want to give you my number. I don't know you like that. You give me yours. Okay, I'll play that game. I'll play that game and give you my number. She called me. We do the lunch. She loves the lunch. After the lunch is over, she feels so much more comfortable now giving me her phone number. Only because she got a chance to get to know me at the lunch. She's okay with giving me the phone number now. Now we're building a relationship. And then at some point, as we continue to build a relationship, I'm going to say, hey, let's get married. It's the same with our customers. Continue to build relationship. Continue to invite me in. Continue to invite me over to take a look at what you do and allow me to learn more. And if that relationship starts to develop and I'm happy with the relationship that I'm developing with your brand, then I am more likely to want to give you my phone number, my email, my home address, city, state, zip. Now you got me plugged into your system. Now you can send me mailers and whatever else you want to do with it. That's when it becomes a win for you. Thank you, Kiara. Who's that? Kiara, thank you for that question. Here is it smart to focus on organic ads instead of paid, getting ambassadors to help with getting the word out organically? Very good question, Travis, with Life Addicts, by the way. So, Travis, my answer to you is this. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the influence market of personalities and those kind of people. I think it helps. I think ambassadors are good. But in a time like this, ambassadors are trying to figure out how to stay relevant in front of an audience that isn't willing to spend money. So how much sense does it make for me as the business to pay an ambassador who can't even get their followers to spend with them? Like, I can't make that make sense right now. So for me, I'm trying to find another way of how to make this work. And it's definitely not through an ambassador who can't even get a person to spend money with them. And one easy way to tell that with an ambassador that I look for, because I get hit with ambassadors all the time. I'll look at an ambassador, right? And it may say this person's got, 300,000 followers. That's all cool and all that you got a bunch of followers, but that doesn't mean they're spending money with you. I need to know that your 300,000 followers are actually paying something, spending money with you, engaging with you, doing something that helps me justify why I'm paying you $1,000, let's say, to get in front of that audience. Because if you can't show me that they're spending and engaging with you, then why would I ever think they're going to spend and engage with me? It doesn't make sense. So one way I can do that is I'm going to take a look at your page and I see you got 500 or 300,000 followers, but your post you only got 3 people to like your post. And no comments. And the post before that had 5 likes and 2 comments. And the post before that had nothing. So what exactly am I paying for? For you to simply blast it out to a bunch of people that don't even engage with you, but somehow you're going to get them to engage with me. That doesn't make sense to me as a business. So if I'm going to bring on an ambassador, I need ambassadors who know and understand how to engage their markets. How to get their customers to engage with them in ways that I can't because I may not have reached that market yet. That's when an ambassador makes sense for me. That's when I decide to take a serious look at an ambassador who can tell me, Kris, I've got, 300,000 followers and here are the brands that I'm currently working with. And this is what our customers are currently spending right now with the brands that I now support and endorse. That makes sense to me. When you can show me that customers are dropping $100 a sale or, whatever that number is, now that makes sense to me, right? Because now you're justifying how it makes sense to that audience or how it makes sense to me as a business to be a part of that demographic that you have. Then I'm also taking a look at what are those brands? Are these mom and pop shop brands that you're promoting, or are these major brands that I can respect? Are there other fitness brands that are in my space as well that I have to now compete with because you've got a great relationship with them? So now my fear is I'm going to pay you all this money and you promote them more than you promote me. I don't want to deal with all that. So I'm looking for something somewhat exclusive to that I'm paying this money and this is how long you're going to be promoting what I'm doing in front of this audience that you have been able to prove to me is willing to spend this kind of money based on your mention. That's how I approach the whole ambassador and brand set, because everybody and their mama is an ambassador right now sitting at home. Everybody's an ambassador to some extent, Travis. Everybody is trying to find a way to get a hustle right now. And the truth of it is there's a lot of ambassadors who have built up huge followings and have zero engagement, have zero people spending money with their brands, and have zero connection with their audiences. I have zero interest in spending money with ambassadors like that. Show me that you know how to do this and that it's working for you and it's worked for other brands and that you know how to reach this market and that you can show me what their average sale looks like when you mention and do this and do that and it turns into this. Now we can talk dollars and cents. Now it makes more sense to me. Without that, I can't make it make sense. How long should someone continue to lease a space, brick and mortar, out even though there is no income being generated? That's a good question. I would say it depends on the goals of if you, let's say hypothetically you own the space. One, it depends on your goals for the space, and two, the type of business that you've put in the space. You got to make that decision, make that call as to what makes the most sense. And I mean, that's a very complex question. It'd be easier maybe if you want to send that to my inbox and we can get like a 5 or 10 minute phone call in, and then I can learn a little bit more about what that looks like. Then I can give you some more concrete information that might help kind of, help you figure that out and kind of go from there. So, hey, appreciate it, Michael. I'm a genius to everybody else, man. I question that sometimes. I just love sharing content, bro. I just love helping people. And just like last week when I did this, I told y'all I was giving y'all 30 minutes, and y'all got me 15 minutes over. I'm going to give this thing to 3 o'clock, and then I'm going to move on to my next meeting. Yeah, you're welcome, Lane. Thank you. Thank you for checking us out. How sophisticated should our marketing team be in this season? Very good question. I think that simplicity is the answer right now. It's all about being simple. Here's why. In the book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, he says the average consumer spends 800 calories a day just thinking. After I've spent that kind of time thinking throughout my day, I mean, you got to think, I got to work, or if I'm working from home, or if I'm on shutdown, I'm chasing my kids around and trying to find activities for them to do. When I got to spend that kind of time thinking, the last thing I want to do is waste my time thinking through your brand. That's the last thing I want to do is spend my time trying to think through what you're doing as a brand and what your marketing looks like and your messaging. Is too much. It's too confusing. Think about it this way, Ron. Think about it this way. If I go to a website for a business and I can't buy my Fiji water in 2 to 3 clicks, I leave. As simple as that. I don't have time to try to figure out your complex website on how to buy my stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to play that game. So what am I going to do instead? I'm going to go right over to Amazon, where I don't even have to type in the whole word Fiji. I type in the F-I-J and Fiji pops up in the search. 1 click, add to cart, checkout. It needs to be that kind of simplicity. Because you don't want me to have to, you don't want to force me to have to think more, knowing that I'm burning all these calories already having to think through this through life and my situation at home. And, how are my wife and I going to figure this out as far as both of us being out of work, let's say, whatever the case may be. I'm already dedicating a lot of thought to that. Don't ask me to have to try to figure out how to make a purchase with you too, or how to figure that part out. It needs to be extremely simple. 1, 2, 3, just like that. I mean, think, if I ask you to get on here and you got to click through 5 pages and read through content and then accept this agreement and then I'll let you into the video, most of you would not be here sharing with me right now. You wouldn't be here. But because of the simplicity that Facebook gives us of, oh man, it came from my newsfeed. Kris is doing a live. Let me check him out. Or you got the notification that, Kris is doing a Facebook Live, or you saw the post, Kris is doing a Facebook Live. I'm going to show up for that. And because it's only 1 quick click, you have no problems checking it out. But if it was 5 steps, you're not going to do it. So whatever we do from a marketing standpoint, it needs to have true simplicity to it. It cannot be multiple steps. It needs to be very simple. Thanks, Kendra. Hey, appreciate that, Raquel. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Hey, thanks, Regina. I appreciate it. Make sure I got all the questions. Hey, what's up, Juan? You're welcome, Takara. Thank you. I use a lot Instagram and Facebook paid ads to draw in my new clients for my clothing. Absolutely, Tyrone. Facebook paid ads are an amazing way to go. And to be very honest with you, most people simply just don't know how to run Facebook ads, which is why they don't use them. They see their costs shoot through the roof, and it gets frustrating because you're spending so much money trying to figure out the ad space. What I can tell you right now is Facebook is probably, and this is partly my opinion, Facebook is probably one of the best vehicles that we have right now for marketing your business, period. One of the best vehicles. And what makes it one of the best vehicles is the cost. It's extremely affordable to market all the stuff that you do in your business to all these people all over that don't know you and have never heard of you for 2 cents a click, 3 cents a click. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't run an ad anywhere. Yelp, no TV, no radio, no newspaper, nowhere for that kind of return on your investment. I mean, we've done Facebook posts and gotten really serious organic engagement, and we've also run ads, and we can generate thousands of dollars through a, let's say, $30 ad, $20 ad. But it's only because we got really, really good at how to target our market. We got really, really good at how to target our market by better understanding our customer. We learned how to better understand our customer by telling our customer, let's go to lunch, not saying, let's get married. You follow that process and it will take you to a better understanding of your customer, which then makes your ads more effective, which then drives your costs down and your revenue up. Kendra, repeat the book title, please. I gave out 2 books. I mentioned Brendon Burchard's The Millionaire Messenger. And Burchard is spelled like Burchard, Burchard, but it's pronounced Burchard. So you got Brendon Burchard, The Millionaire Messenger, and Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. And I got to give this shameless plug. If you have not read my book, From Success to Significance, The 8 Keys to Achieving Any Goal or Dream, I encourage you to check it out as well. Take a look at it. I lay out 8 principles that I personally use to go from where I was to where I wanted to be in life and in business. So, and then Brendon and I, like I said, are with the same publishing house. So that's how I learned a lot about what he was doing around The Millionaire Messenger. And then Donald Miller, I actually saw Donald Miller keynote an event here last year that I was a part of. And that was how I got connected there. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Ariana, you already know I do not play around when I jump on these things. I'm coming to give solid content. I'm here to give you ideas. I'm here to give you information. I am not the, what's the word? I'm not the coach or speaker or trainer or consultant or whatever you want to label me as. I'm not one of those guys who says, here is what you do, but never tell you how to do it until you buy my $5,000 coaching package. That's not how I would prefer to work. I love sharing content. I love sharing free content. I love helping bounce ideas, and I don't mind sharing some of my best content because, again, back to Brendon Burchard with his book, The Millionaire Messenger, and this might be helpful to some of you. In that same book, he says, if you share your best content for free, your goal is to get people to say, man, if his free content is this good, it's got to be amazing if I pay for it. So that is my mindset. If I'm willing to give free content and you love my free content, you're going to absolutely love my content when you read my book. You're going to love the content when you get me on a coaching session. You're going to love what I share when you get me one-on-one and we can really dig in deep into your individual business rather than generally speaking. You're going to love the content that comes out of that when you pay for it if you love the free content that I share. So that becomes the mindset, and I encourage you to consider that as well. It's all about giving free content. And for some, they're going to say, but wait a second. If I give away all my free content, then what exactly am I supposed to share when they pay for it? That's a part of being an entrepreneur. That's a part of being a creative. It is to force you to think outside the box. If you're trying to keep this stuff all bottled up and held close to your chest and only give me your best stuff when I'm willing to pay, when I'm willing to spend money with you, you'll never survive. You'll never make it in business. You need to be willing to give me some ideas and some great content that makes me feel it's worth it. Make me feel it's worth it. Make me feel it's worth making that investment with you. Because again, you're asking me to get married. So help me understand why I need to commit to you and not your competitor. Help me understand why I'm buying into what you do and not into with your competitor. The same way with the girl. I'm going to ask her to get married. She's going to tell me no. I've got it now. I'm going to be dating her for a little while, right? She's going to be, taking a look and see, how do I treat her? Does he take care of me? Does he do all the things that I want? Does he show those signs of being an incredible husband? Does he have all the traits that I'm going to look for in being a husband before I say I do? I've got to be willing to take that chance and be willing to throw out some of that great content and say, I'm willing to cook at home and take out the trash and do this and do that. And I'm trying to think of all the things that my wife wants me to do. So all these things that she wants me to do. But I got to be willing to share that stuff before I say, let's get married, so that she can see I'm about my business. I'm here to get it done. I throw that Johnny Romance jacket on and I ain't coming to play. I'm here to give some strong, like, I'm ready. You the one for me. I'm the one for you. Let's get married. So if we're selling that, how do we sell that in our business? We sell that in our business by giving free content. Let's show our customers why we're the best fit for this. Let's show our customers how we're the one that's going to take care of you with amazing customer service. We're going to not only give you amazing customer service, we're going to give you an amazing product that is hard to turn down. It's hard to resist. And we're going to give it to you for the price of a lifetime. We're going to give you something amazing. So that's what it becomes. How do you do that in your business? Because when you do that in your business and you can show me that, now I'm more likely to say, you know what? Let's get committed. Let's commit. I'm ready to get married. And that ready to get married means I'm spending $50, $100, or whatever you sell, whatever it costs for what you're offering, right? I'm ready to commit to that. Hey, good stuff, Michael. Congrats on the engagement. So I'm ready to make that, right? So now I'm ready to spend the money with you because you've courted me. You've shown me that you're the best fit to help me meet what I'm looking for. And you resemble and have all the traits for what I want to offer. That's what it comes down to. So that is what I encourage businesses to think about. And I already know someone on this is not going to listen to me. When I get off of this, someone that's going to watch this video is going to be the first person that's going to bounce back and say, hey, buy my bundles. Buy my bundles. And I'm going to see it all in my timeline, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to laugh with everybody else and keep scrolling because no one cares. No one is interested in buying your stuff when you can't help us better understand why we need to buy your stuff. Simple as that. We need to understand why we need to be with you versus over there. Why am I with you versus your competitor? You want to give me that story? Take me out to lunch then. Take me out to lunch and give me some of your features, advantages, and benefits of why you're the best fit. That's what I need to know. Why are you the best fit? Why is your car lot where I need to buy the car versus going down the street to Mercedes? Why do I need to come and eat at your restaurant every weekend versus the restaurant down the street? You got to be able to help me understand why that's the case. And as you better help me understand that by taking me out to lunch and inviting me in to learn more, that's when you win. And as far as an ad standpoint, I've got a few more minutes. As far as an ad standpoint, that's when we're talking brand awareness. And I may have to do a separate video because that's a whole another 30 minutes or so on just that alone. Brand awareness, if you run ads, your brand awareness ads are simply your ads that say, let's go to lunch. Your engagement ads are your ads that say, let's get married. That's the difference between brand awareness and engagement for those who like to run Facebook ads or are looking to run Facebook ads. That's the difference. Your brand awareness ads are not designed to say, buy my stuff, buy my bundles. They're simply designed to say, come and take a look at what we're doing. Your engagement ads are the ones where you're saying, hey, come on in. This is what we got. This promotion ends on Saturday, and you've got until then to get this deal. That's when you're going to give me that kind of content. So I've got about 2 or 3 minutes left. Any last questions, comments, thoughts, ideas on your business, anything you want to bounce off me? I've covered a lot of content from, better understanding customer to internal, external, which I can dig a little deeper on probably in another video, to 70-30 of how you promote this stuff, understanding your customers and knowing that 70% of your market is the market that's never heard of you versus 30% that have already had brand loyalty with you, to 80% rules and all types of stuff. So anything at all before I wrap this up. And again, any questions or comments or thoughts, I'm happy to take. Showing those signs. Oh, you mean this one right here, Ariana? I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about. So this is and I always get this wrong, Jean-Michel Basquiat painting. One of my favorite guys in the art world. As a creative, I love everything creative. And the reason I love this particular painting, and actually I'm going to take the camera up so you can see it really quick. Let's see if I can flip that around for you. Actually, I'll do it this way. So right there. What I love about this painting is most young kings get their head cut off, right? Well, there's the other part, the cut off part. So the reason this painting stood out to me, and this is actually a remake of it, a reprint of it. What made this one so special for me when I read that was that he died at a very young age, but he comes from a world of creativity. And the belief is once you reach a certain level of success, that's usually when everybody starts to come at your neck, right? Jesus. I mean, Jesus reached a certain level, and all of a sudden they had to get him. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, I mean, you name it. You reach a certain level, and they come to get you. And so for me, I keep that as a reminder as my success continues to grow and I continue to rise in the ladder of what I do and reach more and more people. I mean, my work today has traveled to over 100 countries now. And so, and I don't say that in bragging or in arrogance or to impress you. I say it to impress upon you that that's what's happened because of my ability to share strong content. And so as I share strong content, I continue to rise up. I have to be mindful that there's always going to be someone watching that wants my spot in a competitive way. There's always going to be someone that wants my spot. And there's someone, as Jay-Z would say, there's someone sitting at home right now at their kitchen table, pounding on the table and thinking through beats and music. And they're saying, I like what he's doing and I want his spot. There is a business coach. There's a writer, the next author, the next speaker, serial entrepreneur. There's someone that's watching me and saying, man, I want this guy's spot. And they're coming for it. And my thing is, when I'm not working, they are. And so that keeps me grinding. And little stuff like that keeps it as a reminder to me. That's what's up, Daryl. We still got to talk that shirt deal, bro. So, yeah, my time is up. 3:01. I've covered it. Oh, definitely. I appreciate that, Ariana. Absolutely. I hope this has been helpful. I mean, I've given a lot of great content, I hope. Things that I've learned from experience and things that I've also done and we're doing in my businesses that I have now. Feel free to reach out, bounce any ideas off of me. I ain't even playing that game with you right now, bro. So feel free to shoot me a message to my inbox. We can bounce ideas. I'm happy to take some questions and help however I can. I'm probably going to end up doing another video in a few days on some next content. So if there's any topics that you want to hear, shoot them to me. Shoot them over to me. And if that's something that we can fit in, well, let's make it happen. And, we'll continue to share content like this and be of a resource to you as you all fight through and push through this whole shutdown time and as we all try to figure out, how to keep our businesses thriving. Thank you for checking me out. Feel free to share the replay, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.